until you win. In a few moments, I will teach you how focusing solely on yourself creates strength, silence, and momentum until you finally win. Every man searches outward for approval, for applause, for proof that he is becoming something. But what if the real proof lies not in what the world says, but in what you say to yourself in the silence of your own soul? You are told to chase money, recognition, relationships, and rewards, but none of these will serve you long if the man inside is left unfocused and undisciplined. The moment you stop checking how others are running and start checking your own steps, you begin the real race. Why is this important? Because your focus is your power. It is the rudder of your ship. It tells your future which direction to prepare for. If your focus is scattered on 10 different shores, you'll never reach any of them. But when it narrows to one, the right one, it will cut through every storm. What does that look like? It looks like a man who turns off the world for a season and builds quietly, like the craftsman who polishes a masterpiece no one sees until it's too brilliant to ignore. So ask yourself, are you focused on becoming, or are you distracted by watching others become? Are you watering your roots, or just decorating your branches? The man who learns to look inward before outward will soon find everything outward bowing to his inward strength. Begin there. Stay there. Win from there. Build a wall around your attention. Your attention is your treasure. Guard it like a kingdom under siege. Every whisper from others, every comparison, every subtle judgment, they are arrows aiming to pierce your focus. But you must not flinch. A man who protects his attention builds an empire. Why does this matter? Because whatever holds your attention owns your future. If gossip gets it, you shrink. If regret gets it, you stall. If purpose gets it, you rise. But how do you make your attention unshakable? Begin by choosing what enters your eyes and ears. Choose your conversation. Choose your thoughts. Say no more often. Cut shallow obligations. Trade being liked for being clear. And above all, stop explaining yourself to people who are not building with you. Imagine a farmer who checks his neighbor's crops every morning. He forgets to water his own, and come harvest season, he has nothing but envy. Now imagine you. What could you build in a year if you stopped checking how others are living? What would happen if you poured that energy into you? This is not selfish. It is sacred. It is the beginning of everything great. Focus is not a suggestion. It is survival. Will you waste it or will you wield it? Become dangerously consistent. You don't need more goals. You need more repetition. Most men fail not from lack of ambition, but from lack of consistency. They dream in castles, but build with paper. You begin with fire, with vision, with a plan. But the moment the winds of boredom or resistance begin to blow, you flicker. You start strong on Monday, and by Thursday, you negotiate. You say, maybe I'll do it later, maybe tomorrow. And with every compromise, you teach your mind that effort is optional. Yet the man who wins is not the one who starts with the loudest noise, but the one who walks forward even when the applause fades. He moves even when no one claps, even when no one notices, even when the reward is far away. Why? Because he understands a secret. Every act you repeat, even in silence, is shaping the man you become. You are not defined by your goals. You are defined by what you do daily. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. And here lies the difference. Most men worship inspiration, but inspiration fades. The wise man worships structure. He builds it into his life like a rhythm, a drumbeat that never stops. He becomes a creature of consistent motion. He keeps showing up after he's tired, after he's overlooked, and through repetition, he becomes what others call lucky, what history calls unstoppable. So, how do you become that man? Start by making fewer promises. Don't declare 100 intentions. Declare one and keep it. Let your soul learn that your word has weight. Build a schedule, not a fantasy. Follow it like a soldier follows orders. When your feelings say no, let your principles say yes. Do the thing again and again and again until it bends reality to your will. Ever heard of a blacksmith? He doesn't strike the iron once and expect it to change. He hits it with rhythm, with heat, with patience. He hits it until it becomes what he envisions. You must be like that with your body, with your craft, with your character. Life does not yield to dabblers. It yields to the dangerously consistent. So ask yourself today, have you been flirting with success or forging it? Have you been writing intentions or carving results? Are you still negotiating with your excuses or are you commanding your future? The man who becomes dangerously consistent, who trains his hands, his tongue, his mind to show up daily, rain or shine, he becomes something more than human. He becomes inevitable. Time bows before such a man, and fate takes notice. Keep striking. Keep showing up. Let others chase motivation. You chase mastery. For in the end, the world does not reward potential. It rewards proof. And proof is born in repetition. Silence your inner enemy. There is a voice in your head. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shouts. It pretends to protect you, but it only paralyzes. It tells you you're not ready, not good enough, not made for more. It digs into your memories and pulls out every flaw, every mistake, and presents them like facts. But this voice is not the truth. It is sabotage dressed in your own tone. It is the enemy that lives rent-free inside your own house. And until you evict it, you will keep locking yourself out of the future meant for you. What makes this voice so powerful? It knows your secrets. It speaks with familiarity. It sounds like your own thoughts. It repeats the fears you've whispered in the dark. It doesn't come at you like a stranger. It comes like a friend, like a guardian, warning you, shielding you. But its warnings are lies. Its shields are chains. It plays your failures on loop as if they are prophecy. But prophecy is not prediction. Prophecy belongs to the man who writes it, not the man who fears it. So how do you defeat this enemy? You don't argue with it. You speak louder than it. You declare your truth. You write down what is noble in you, what is excellent, what is eternal, and you read it aloud, not once, but daily. You become your own advocate. You shift from inner criticism to inner coaching. You stop reciting what went wrong and start rehearsing who you are. Your words are weapons. Use them. Speak like a man who commands his own soul. The voice of doubt must never be allowed the final word. Speak your values. Speak your goals. Speak your identity until that inner saboteur is drowned out by the truth of who you really are. Surround yourself with people who reflect your strength, not your insecurity. You do not need echoes of fear. You need mirrors of courage. Seek those who sharpen your edge, who remind you that you are not alone in this battle. For no man wins a war by himself. You are not failing, you are forging. You are not behind, you are becoming. Just as a blade is hammered and heated before it shines, so too must your soul be tested before it triumphs. What feels like delay is often divine preparation, and what feels like defeat is often disguised development. Picture a captain in the middle of a storm. The waves rise, the crew panics, fear spreads like fire. But the captain does not shout in fear. He speaks above the storm. He holds the wheel. He sets the course. He commands. That's who you must be. Will you be the crew reactive, scattered, overwhelmed, or will you be the captain of your own mind? The voice of fear will always knock, but it is you who decides if it gets a seat at the table. Until you conquer the inner voice, no outer victory will last. You can win the deal, earn the praise, gain the success, but if your own mind is against you, peace will escape you. So quiet the lie, amplify the truth. Don't just think it, declare it. Don't just hope for strength, train it. Build your inner voice like a warrior builds his sword, with focus, with practice, with fire. Because once your mind believes, your life will follow. And when the truth in you becomes louder than the lie, there will be no storm you cannot command. Walk alone until you attract. Tribe, you want support. That's natural. You want applause. That's human. You crave connection, affirmation, a circle that sees you. But don't beg for it. Don't chase the hands that won't clap unless you shrink yourself. Earn your tribe by first becoming someone who doesn't need one to stand tall. How? By walking alone. Not forever, but long enough for the walk itself to change you. When you carry your fire in solitude, it grows brighter, steadier, unstoppable. In that fire, it becomes a beacon. The right people do not need convincing. They are drawn to light. This truth is hard because it cuts against our oldest instinct, the need to belong. From childhood, you were wired to fit in, to avoid rejection, to win approval. But there is a cost to this craving. The man who rushes into every crowd in search of warmth often forgets the fire within. He conforms, he mimics, he loses himself, until he's not even sure what his own voice sounds like. Before you become social, you must become solid. Before you seek acceptance, you must seek alignment. Alignment with what? With your values, your vision, your voice. This is not arrogance. This is foundation. You do not become valuable by being seen. You become seen by becoming valuable. So how do you start? Choose solitude, not loneliness, solitude. Loneliness is emptiness. Solitude is presence. It is the forge where greatness is made. Use it to think deeply, act deliberately, train consistently. Let it sharpen your instincts and strip away your noise. Get so clear on your mission that distractions find you boring. Picture a lion among sheep. The lion does not beg the herd to crown him king. He does not explain himself. He does not lower his roar to comfort their ears. He stands in his strength. And the right ones recognize it. So must you. Ask yourself, are you shrinking your spirit to be accepted by groups who do not value your essence? Are you softening your voice to blend in with a chorus of confusion? Or are you willing to be misunderstood for a time until you are respected? Understand this. The road of solitude is not a curse. It is the training ground. It is where kings are made. It is where voices are refined and resolve is built. When you stop fearing the lonely path, you begin to own it. And the man who owns the road eventually commands the crowd. So walk it, with your head high, with your spine straight, with your purpose in hand. Let your silence be your training. Let your discipline be your declaration. Let your life become proof that you did not need permission to become powerful, because one day they will come, the ones who resonate, the ones who rise, and they will not ask, "Can I follow you?" They will simply fall into step, because real tribe is not found, it is drawn. And only those who have walked alone can lead others with strength. Let the lonely road refine you, not define you. Be willing to walk it, and soon you won't just find a tribe, you'll lead one. You owe you everything. No mentor, no partner, no miracle. That may sound harsh, but it is the highest form of freedom. Because once you stop waiting for rescue, you start building your own ladder. You start becoming the answer. The moment you take full ownership of your life, you take back your power. Not just emotionally, but practically. You stop asking, why me, and start asking, what now? Why is this shift so powerful? Because the man who blames, delays, he transfers his power to his past. But the man who takes charge accelerates. He becomes a force of movement. He refuses to let excuses outlive his dreams. He understands this truth. If your vision is sacred, your excuses must be sacrificed. So what does it mean to owe yourself everything? It means doing the work when no one claps, waking up early when no one tells you to, holding yourself to a higher standard, not because someone is watching, but because you are. It means choosing the hard thing before the easy one, discipline over comfort, purpose over pleasure. It means showing up as your future self now. Stop waiting for motivation, create it. Motivation is a result, not a requirement. Action comes first. Motion breeds emotion. When you move, clarity comes. Strength follows. Stop asking for permission. Claim it. The life you want will not be handed to you. It will be forged by you. One decision at a time. Picture a builder standing before a vacant lot. There is no applause, no blueprint, just a vision and a will. He starts with one brick, then another. Every brick is a promise. Every strike of the hammer is a vow. He does not wait for help. He becomes help. Until one day a castle stands where emptiness once ruled. Will you lay your bricks, or are you still waiting for someone else to bring the cement? The truth is this. Every result in your life is a reflection of the standard you've allowed. If you tolerate mediocrity, you live in it. If you demand excellence, you rise into it. So, raise the standard. Not tomorrow, now. Not when you feel like it, especially when you don't. Because every day you delay is a day you deepen the gap between who you are and who you could be. You owe you. Not your past, not your pain, not your doubt. You owe your future. The one waiting for you to show up. The one asking, are you ready to stop watching and start building? You want transformation? Then stop outsourcing responsibility. Take the pen, write your path, lay your bricks, stack your proof. This life is your construction site. It is messy, it is slow, it is silent, but every nail you drive, every hour you commit, every choice you master builds the fortress of a man who is unshakable. You don't need saving, you need structure. You don't need approval, you need execution. And when you understand that you owe you, everything changes. Not because the world gets easier, but because you get stronger. Now prove it. Your standards determine your story. Your life will never rise higher than your standards. Not your dreams, not your intentions, your standards. Because while dreams may lift your eyes to the sky, only standards train your feet to walk the path that gets you there. A man may speak of greatness, but if his standards are low, his actions will betray him. And life will always echo action, not ambition. Dreams inspire, yes, but standards build. And the man who builds high must first dig deep. He must declare to himself not once, but daily, this is my line, this is who I am. For the man who sets a high standard and never breaks it becomes like a fortress. Life may strike, storms may howl, but the walls do not shake, because the foundation was never negotiable. Why does this matter? Because when the winds of adversity blow, you do not rise to the occasion. That is a myth. You fall to the level of your system, and your system is only as strong as the floor beneath it, the line you refuse to cross, even when it costs you. That floor is your standard, not the one you tell the world, but the one you live when no one's looking. So how do you raise that floor? Start with your non-negotiables. Not 10, just 1. Then guard it with your life. Say no to the path of least resistance. Say no to just this once. Say yes to this is who I am. Because when you start defending the standard starts defending you. Refuse the easy way. Reject what insults your soul. Deny what feels good now if it steals from what matters forever. The man who refuses to cheat the blueprint, who builds with integrity, brick by brick, day by day, becomes untouchable. He is not dependent on applause. He does not bend when mocked. He shows up when it rains. He shows up when it hurts. And over time, his consistency becomes legacy. His name begins to mean something. His presence becomes a message, because everyone around him knows he doesn't break the line. And that is rare. That is respected. That becomes power. But the question remains, what are your standards behind closed doors? When no one is watching, who are you? Not the version you post or perform, but the one who stands alone in silence. That man is writing your future, not the dreamer, the decider. And the beauty of standards is this: you don't need anyone's permission to raise them. You don't need the world to agree. You only need you to decide. Because once you elevate the standard, the story must follow. Life cannot help but reflect what you consistently demand. So choose the higher floor. Hold it, guard it, build from it. And one day, without trying to be inspiring, without shouting your worth, others will look to you and say, there stands a man whose standards shaped his story. Let that man be you. Your pace is your power. You've been told to hurry, to keep up, to move faster, or risk being forgotten. But no one told you the truth. Speed without direction is disaster. It feels like progress. It looks like ambition, but it often ends in exhaustion, regret, and misalignment. The world runs in panic. You must choose to move in purpose. Because the moment you trade your pace for theirs, you abandon your path for theirs. And in that trade, purpose dies. Comparison is not motivation. It is corrosion. It eats at your center until your journey no longer feels like your own. The man who understands his pace owns his future. He doesn't rush to impress. He doesn't panic when others seem ahead. He knows something they don't. Life is not a race. It is a rhythm. And rhythm, once discovered, becomes a secret weapon. Why is pace so powerful? Because pace guards your energy. It shields you from burnout. It protects you from distraction. It saves you from self-sabotage. The man who knows his pace refuses to sprint toward goals that don't matter. He doesn't trade his soul for speed. Instead, he builds with intention. He learns the rhythm of mastery. And real mastery is never built in sprints. It is carved in stride. So how do you find your pace? Stop watching theirs. Start listening inward. The answer is not in the crowd's applause. It's in your own breath, your own steps, your own spirit. Learn to hear your inner tempo. Design days that support depth, not just hustle. Choose one hard thing and do it well. Eliminate the noise. Embrace the discipline of slow, deep, and focused work. Build slowly, but with no retreat. Let each action be a brick. Let each day be a foundation. Imagine a marathon runner who starts sprinting at mile 1. He flies ahead for a moment, but the weight of unsustainable speed breaks him. He collapses, he regrets, he fades. But the man who knows his rhythm, he endures, he conserves, he outlasts them all. Because his power is not in speed, it is in sustainability. Ask yourself, are you chasing the world's timeline, or are you building your own? Are you counting how fast others rise, or are you measuring how deep you go? What if your timing isn't late, but perfect? What if your pace is power in disguise? What if your patience is the very thing positioning you for permanence? Walk in that, own that, trust that, because when you do, you will arrive. And not just anywhere, but exactly where greatness was waiting. Not by accident, but by rhythm, by mastery, by walking the path only you could walk, at the pace only you could hold. You don't need to be first. You need to be faithful. Keep your pace, keep your power, and the world will wonder how you lasted, how you rose, how you built what no one else could. The answer? You didn't rush. You remembered who you are, and you moved in that rhythm until the world caught up. Mindset makes the man. Your mind is not merely a tool, it is the throne. And whatever reigns there, fear or faith, doubt or discipline, will rule your life. Every word you speak, every step you take, every choice you make begins in the hidden halls of your thinking. The mind is not passive, it is the architect of your reality. And your mindset, that is the gatekeeper. It decides what stays and what gets rejected. It filters every moment, every opportunity through the lens of belief or limitation. This changes everything, because if you take hold of your thoughts, you take hold of your life. If you shape your inner world, your outer world bends to match it. The man who masters his mindset cannot be moved. He does not crumble under pressure. He does not inflate with praise nor deflate with insult. He is anchored not in mood, not in emotion, but in principle. He leads himself, not by whim, but by truth. So how does such a mind get built? It begins where few are willing to look,